Today the word that I came up with, which kind of came out of my mouth, not even thoughtless actually, was renewal. I know that usually that kind of term is used at the beginning of a year, but for whatever reason today, that's the word that I'm connecting with today is renewal. Trying to find a space to always be reviewing, revising, rejuvenating, and updating, as I would say, And today, I think, is one of those days. I think we get so many opportunities to review, revise, rejuvenate, and update that we shouldn't take them for granted. And we should make sure that we are allowing ourselves the opportunity to grow, change, rest, allow our skin, our physical space, our emotional, spiritual space to heal, to be productive and prosperous by treating it well. And in that, and I'm using these words, they kind of probably seem disjointed. But those are the words that are coming to mind, is in the idea of like renewal, that we are revising, reviewing, revising, rejuvenating, and updating, so that we are giving ourselves an opportunity to kind of take some accountability for things. I love the word accountability, for the record. If y'all was on the live yesterday, I use it a lot. I really like the word accountability. I think it is a difficult thing to do, but I think it's an absolute beautiful, necessary task as a human person, is to be accountable for ourselves. So anyways, reviewing, just kind of like sit back and think through your day, or think about your day and think about your week at the end of it, and just kind of take note into what you could have done different, what you loved about it, what you didn't like so much, what your emotions were during the day or during the week, what that was directly related to, what thoughts were related to that, and how your day, your life, your week, your next day, your next moment can be different. That's kind of the review part. The revise is, what can I do different, and what am I going to implement differently? Maybe there is a situation where you responded to, ineffectively, inappropriately. Maybe we can do that different. Maybe we can revise that and, make it right. Excuse me. And rejuvenate. So, funny enough, I love that people use therapy as their personal time, right? I love that, because it is personal time. Outside of doing that, though, we also need other personal time. Like, go to Barnes and Nobles, read a book, go walking, go join a book club, go join an adult athletic team where you're playing volleyball or something. Like, find something that you love. If you love the beach here, obviously the beach is not far away, especially if you're in Virginia Beach. I'm in Chesapeake, so it's about 30 minutes away for me. But just find things you love. Pottery, painting. Invest in yourself and things that bring you pleasure. Please invest in yourself. When we talking about investing in yourself, that does not mean investing in your roles. And I want to be clear about that. That's going to be a whole nother live that I do. But a lot of time we invest in our roles. And what I mean by that is, if I'm a mom, I'm invested in being a mom. I'm going to spend time, money, energy, and effort investing in being a mom. I may read some books. I may take some tips. I may attend a parenting class. I may get some advice. That's me investing in being a mom. That is a role. That is a role, one role that we play. I may invest in being a better partner. I may go to couples counseling. I may, we may talk to our pastor. We may get some advice for some other couples. We may read some books. We may take some quizzes. We may have some productive conversations. That is investing in my relationship with my partner. That does not necessarily mean I am investing in myself. I want to be clear that those things are two different things. There are several roles that we play in our life that make up who and what we are and what we do, right? But as an individual human person, those things are separate. We're always going to be somebody, something. Mother, daughter, son, father, sister, brother, cousin, boss. I hate the word boss, for the record. I hate the word boss. I really don't like it. Supervisor, let's use that. Supervisor, employee. We're always going to be something to someone. So just finding a way to invest in the person at some point and not just the roles, right? That does mean going to counseling, but that also means doing things that you enjoy, that you connect with. That means finding a space that's just for you. That's super effective, and it helps you rejuvenate. That speaks to this whole concept of rejuvenation that I'm talking about. You go to sleep at night, that helps you rejuvenate your body physically. We have to rejuvenate ourselves spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. That does not happen on its own. That is something that requires investment and effort. It is important to make sure we are investing in ourselves in a way in which we are going to get something out of it, right? Like I said, I love that people invest in themselves and come to counseling. That's what I thank them for. I thank them for investing in themselves. I thank them for spending the time to get some rejuvenation and figure out what's going on with them so they can be at their best. That's what I thank them for. And I encourage them to continue to do that outside of my office. Hey, what's up? I encourage them to do that outside of my office. But it's even more important, that they take that as a lifestyle change, not just me asking them to do something for themselves. So that's where the rejuvenation piece comes in. And the update. So the update is a little different from revise for several reasons. Update means that it is permanent. Revision means that we are looking at something, attempting to change it, and then in an effort to see how the change is going to look, right? But the update means the update means that we are instituting hopefully a permanent or long-term change, right? That we are attempting to make something better. So when doing that can be an everyday thing, y'all. That does not have to be it's the end of the year. What am I going to do for the new year? It doesn't have to do that. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a personal example. One for me is making sure that I am doing some effective fasting. So one of my updates is that we fast anyway. We fast between the hours that we go to sleep, right? We're fasting. We're asleep, but we're fasting. So ideally, I don't like the idea of eating and going straight to sleep. I don't like it. So I determined that I want to fast a little bit longer. So my fast would be between 8 p.m. and the time that I wake up. That's usually between if I'm going to the gym, 5 and 6 typically, maybe even 4:30. That's an update. I start small. I don't encourage people to make huge, ridiculous, changes or have these goals that make it hard for them to meet. Start small. So for me, I start with a day. Let me get through the day. Let me make it through this moment. And after I make it through that, let's start the next day. And then I'm creating a routine for myself and a permanent lifestyle change, not a temporary fix. That's not what I'm going for. And that is the beauty of updating. The gym, or people, I want to use this example even more. People who struggle with substance use. everybody is not like a all in one. You know, everybody can't just like hit it and quit it, if you will. Where whether it be alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, you name it, sex, shopping, you know, overeating, you name it. Everybody is not a hit it and quit it, meaning I can do it and I'm just stop cold turkey. Everybody's not built for that. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary if your life is threatened or there are particular medical situations, etc. But everybody's not made for that. Everybody is not prepared to do that. And everybody's not going to be successful with that. So one thing that I suggest, because substance use is one of my, I say substance use is more addiction, is one of my specialties, is I talk about the titrating effect. So I may have someone start small and build up to something big where it doesn't feel like such an overwhelming task that they can actually accomplish and they can see their progress. For example, if I have someone who, let's say I'm gonna use something hardcore because that's just a thing people don't like to talk about, but it's out here. Okay, I worked at a methadone clinic. Methadone treats individuals who struggle with opiates. So that can be heroin, that can be pain medication, right? If you have someone who has been using opiates for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, sometimes even 40, 50 years of their life, it does not even make sense for them to walk into my office and me tell them, okay, so we're going to stop today. It doesn't work like that. We have the conversation, but ideally I need to know what their goals are, what their fears are, what their barriers are, what their triggers are, how that impacted in their environment and in their life, and what kind of plan we can create so they can be successful, right? And I want y'all to take this away because this is not just about like heroin. I'm using this extreme example because this has to do with repetitious or routine things that we do that we don't find effective that we want to change. Follow me. So what I'll say is, okay, what is our plan? We're going to create a plan. What works for you? What is working for you thus far? When are times that you don't use? What are you doing during those times? Oh, maybe I'm spending time with family, or maybe I'm at work, or maybe I'm going to like NA, or maybe I'm spending time with my children or my family. Okay, cool. So obviously having a supportive environment where people can keep you accountable works for you. So maybe we need to create more structure around your day so you have less downtime, one, and then two, that we create a space for you in the evening to kind of create a bedtime routine that doesn't involve drug use. Cool, we'll start there. I want to start with just one day. Give me one day where you cannot use. And sometimes it's not even a day. Sometimes it's a time frame. Peep what I'm saying. If I have someone who uses heroin 3 times a day, maybe they do 3 bags a day, morning, afternoon, evening, I'm not going to ask them to stop their whole day, because what I'm asking them to do is go cold turkey for a whole day. They may or may not be able to do that, and some people that can put them in a medical crisis. That is not what I'm trying to do. So what I would say is, hey, just give me the morning. Skip your bag in the morning and let's see how you feel about it. Instead of doing your bag in the morning, maybe take a walk that morning. Take a walk during the time that you would use, get dressed and go out. Let's plan something for you to do. Go to the library, go grocery shopping, make yourself unavailable to use. Cool. So if they get through that one day, we talk about how they felt, what that experience was like, what worked, what didn't work, were they having cravings, what their struggle was, and we make a plan for the next day. One day at a time. Sometimes it's one moment at a time. I'm still on the concept of updating. Updating means you create a plan and effectively make a long-term change, right? I use that extreme example because it's just easier to explain that way, especially when people are in a routine. Let me just be clear. Addiction is also a routine. It's not just about saying no. It's not just about like, people doing things that are purposely destroying their lives and everybody else's because, of just this. It has to do with a lot of brokenness, but it also has to do with routine and lifestyle. the people that support them or that they involve in their lives are also supportive in some way, shape, or form of their use. That can be enabling them. That can be like criticizing them. In some form, they play a role in that. Same thing with us in our habits, addictions, and our routines. So find a space that you feel good about, and then you make the update from there. Start with very, very small changes. One, so you can see your accomplishments and you can make changes when you see things don't work. And the other is that, guys, hey, you need to know that what you're doing is effective and is working and it feels good. You need to be able to identify that. So that's also why it's important to make very small changes. And I'm saying small is a big thing, but in the bigger picture of things, it is very small. Concept today, out of all the things that I've said, y'all listening to me rambling, I appreciate all of you guys being on here today, is the idea or concept of renewal. So that means reviewing, revising, rejuvenating, updating. Y'all have any questions about that? What do y'all think about it? I feel like I've rambled a little bit. I went on a whole daggone tangent about it. But any questions, any feedback? Do you guys struggle with instituting changes in your life? And if so, what is the struggle about? What are the barriers that you're struggling with? Are there any barriers in particular that you're struggling with? Y'all, I just got to my office and I've been sitting in my car. I have so much to do today. I cannot deal. What barriers do you struggle with? Sometimes time is a barrier. That can be a barrier in and of itself. For all my, people who work jobs, we're not even talking about more than one. You have kids. You have all your roles. Mom, dad, sister, brother, supervisor. Sometimes time in and of itself is just a barrier. Do you guys have any barriers that you struggle with, me in particular, that you